So in this lesson, we want to start off by talking about how people normally do keyword research and plan a content strategy and the problems with it. So we're going to start by introducing a concept that anyone in marketing is very familiar with, that a lot of content marketers use, that leads them, in our mind, astray to a content strategy that doesn't convert, which is this concept of a marketing funnel. Specifically, using and thinking of content as a top of funnel activity. So let me just pull up a visual from one of our blog posts. So this blog post was about SaaS content marketing, but this funnel concept applies to any business. And it's something that if you're in marketing, you are definitely aware of, which is this idea that there's a marketing funnel where a customer moves through stages of awareness, consideration, and then conversion. Now, this is a simple 3-step funnel. A lot of people break it down into multiple steps, but the point is, where most people think of content marketing as kind of living and helping you and helping the business is at the top of the funnel, this awareness stage.
Yeah, I think the issue there is that people assume if you're marketing a new business, so let's say like us, you're marketing a marketing agency or a CRM business, they assume that there's no awareness of your business. And so we need to start at top of the funnel, educate people on the business and the topic, move people through the funnel down to where they're ready to buy. And our argument here is that there's already people who are ready to purchase services from a marketing agency, or they're already ready to purchase CRM software. And so you don't need to educate them on the value of an SEO agency or content marketing agency or the value of a CRM software. There's a lot of people that are already in the market. They already know who the competition is or some of the key players. And what we want to argue is that you should focus on the people who are already educated on your category first and try to show up when they're already looking for a solution to the problem versus the people who are just trying to figure out maybe what is content marketing or what is CRM software, because those people aren't ready to buy it.
Yeah, so that would be just starting at the bottom of the funnel. And I just want to emphasize what Benji's saying. For the vast majority of companies that we've worked with, in our capacity as a content-focused SEO agency, there are people that are already looking for your tool. So then the content and SEO mindset and strategy from yours shifts in this thinking of, first, how do I find keywords that indicate someone is at the bottom of the funnel? And the advantages are that you don't need to do this kind of email capture, drip. Like it doesn't become your responsibility as a company to move buyers from awareness stage through consideration of the options and then selling your option. You're just like, no, first I'm finding the people that are already there. And that makes it a lot easier. So what is the benefit of this from a marketing standpoint? We're going to go through some examples, but first I want to show you an analytics screenshot. So we'll walk you through this. Don't get overwhelmed with the number of numbers on this page. Okay, so analytics is important, but it shows the level of impact that starting at the bottom of the funnel can have. Okay, what we're showing here is a simple Google Analytics screenshot where we have both traffic numbers in this column for a series of blog posts and signups for the particular like self-serve SaaS client we had. And what I want to highlight is the differences between the 3 that are boxed and everything else. The 3 that are boxed are going after keywords that are very much at the bottom of the funnel, things people would Google when they're absolutely looking to buy a software in the category of that particular client. The non-boxed ones are keywords that are still roughly on topic, and we're going to talk through some examples in a second, but they don't indicate that the customer is Googling something where they're ready to buy that software. And look at the difference in signups. The 3 box ones, 41, 33, 51 in whatever date range this is, versus these other keywords that are, again, roughly on topic. 30803. So the difference, what I'm trying to exemplify here is not that if you are at the bottom of the funnel, the conversion rate from traffic to, in this case, trial signups for a SaaS tool is not 20% higher, 30% higher, 50% higher, or even 100% higher. It's multiple X higher. There's between three. If it was like even 100% lift, 3 would be 6. It's not 6, it's 33. That's 10X. And this is even more than 10X. And then even within bottom of the funnel, this one has 1,000 users in this time frame, 50 signups. That the top one has 10,000, 40 signups. With a tenth of the traffic, we got more signups. So the difference in conversion rate for keywords that are at the bottom versus the top is massive. And that's just one particular example. The other way to convince you is on this case study that we also have published about one of our clients, Geekbot, we did this analysis across 60 posts. We analyzed 20 that we would qualify very much as bottom of the funnel and 40 that were more top of the funnel. And when we did that, we can see a more holistic statistical average of what these conversion rate differences are. The bottom of the funnel ones, on average, converted at 4.8%, the top of the funnel at 0.2%. Now, this is where your mind might be thinking, yeah, but don't top of the funnel articles get a lot more traffic, and that makes up for that conversion rate? Great question, and this is the data. Yes, the top of the funnel articles got a lot more traffic, right? 200,000 versus whatever this is, 30-something thousand. And yeah, there were double. There's 40, but even if you account for the fact that there were double top of the funnel terms, it would still be 100,000 versus 40. But when we multiply by conversion rate, the bottom of the funnel, where there was 20 bottom of the funnel that we evaluated versus 40 of these 20 still produced way more conversions, like 3x. 400 times 3 would be 1,200, more than 3x the total conversion. So even when you account for more traffic to top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel still produces raw more conversions. That's why this is so important.
Yeah, I think a reason people do that as well is just a lot of people aren't measuring all the way through the funnel. So when it comes to content, a lot of people don't have the analytics in place to measure this kind of stuff. So people just assume more traffic is better. And so the way that people measure this often is they'll say, well, our website on average converts at 3%. So if I get 20,000 visitors from all these different blog posts, even if they're top of funnel, it should convert at 3%. And they don't realize that there's conversion rate differences that have to do with the topic that you choose. And so if you're choosing a topic that has more buying intent, it converts at a much higher rate than something that is more top of funnel.
Yeah, and I mentioned at the beginning, a lot of this start at the top of the funnel stuff is in the culture of content marketing. This is also in the culture of SEO at large. That SEO, things that SEO experts and gurus talk about, brag about on their blogs, on their social media, is traffic chasing. Look at my client's graph. Yeah. We grew traffic to this. And you're right that underneath that, there is this just underlying assumption, all traffic is good. But those conversion rate data is to show you that it's actually not true. And we've had many clients that have had blogs that have come to us where they have tons of traffic and someone at some point sits down and is like, how much signups for SaaS companies, demo requests for more sales-driven SaaS companies, sales for e-commerce companies or whatever, sales form fills for every other company. Someone sits down and says, how much are we getting from this blog content or this other SEO traffic? And usually when they sit down and measure it, there's this cold splash of water where they realize, oh my goodness, the vast majority of this is not converting. So that's the main problem at hand. Let's walk through a couple of more concrete, hypothetical examples. So one example that Benji had mentioned CRM. So we decided that that's sort of a common SaaS topic that all of us kind of know about. And there's a ton of players in the space, right? There's a ton of smaller CRM tools that are challenging Salesforce, the large incumbent. So it's a good example. And we happen to notice that many companies are writing on this particular keyword, and it's a good example of what we're talking about, what not to do. Gross sales versus net sales. So for example, the featured snippet is from one of those Salesforce competitor type CRMs, Pipedrive. Now, it's a competitor, but Pipedrive is actually decently well known even by itself, right? And so they have the featured snippet. Seems great. And we can look at, and we'll look at it in a second, gross sales versus net sales and in Semrush and look at the kind of volumes it has. But we notice other companies, Zendesk, probably the most popular help desk tool, is writing about gross sales versus net sales. So there we can think, in this framework, let's think through where this is for these two examples. So for Zendesk, let's start with Zendesk. This is help desk software, right? It helps like groups of customer service teams primarily, but also other people like answer emails that are sent to like an info at or whatever group address. Gross sales versus net sales is very much top of the funnel. Like it's not very tied to it. And the question to ask yourself is, does the act of Googling this indicate someone is in the market for my product or service? And I would say very much no for Zendesk. If you're Googling gross sales versus net sales, you're just looking up this kind of like fact about accounting, really. And that's not indicating
I feel like
you're in the
mistake
market.
that people make here. I feel like the mistake that people make here is just, oh, this has to do with business, and I'm trying to attract some of these businesses. And so if I write on a business topic, some subset of these people would potentially need help desk software or CRM software. And it really doesn't make sense for Zendesk or Pipedrive to write about this. It would make more sense if you were an accounting software. And because this topic has to do more with your accounting. And so if someone was looking this up and they had questions about accounting, and then you could tie in how your accounting process can help with this problem, potentially that would be maybe more middle of the funnel. But yeah, for Zendesk and Pipedrive, I don't really think this keyword makes a lot of sense for these businesses to go after.
Yeah, and Pipedrive could argue it's a little bit more on topic for them, right? A CRM, it's by sales teams. You could say, okay, this is more customer service. And by the way, I think there's a chance that Zendesk would argue sales teams use Zendesk maybe to respond to some like sales or inquiries at domain.com. So it'd be like, look, that would probably be the defense of this. Sales teams use Zendesk, and this is a sales topic. So that takes us, and we can answer that in a second, that takes us to like why we think this is actually probably not ideal, or at least definitely not a bottom of the funnel keyword for Pipedrive. Pipedrive, you could say, they could argue, of course this makes sense, guys. It's like we're CRM software for sales teams. But that's true. But who is Googling this and what is their mindset? Whoever is Googling this, first of all, it doesn't indicate that they're on the sales team, right? Like, are individual sales reps Googling gross sales versus net sales? Like you said, that's more of an accounting thing. Why would they Google that? Even if they were, the key is, even if you're getting the right audience, like we're getting a sales manager or something, or head of sales, who may be in charge of picking which CRM they're doing, when they're Googling gross sales and net sales, they're not in the market for CRMs. We have no idea what they're in the market for. They're just trying to figure out a particular accounting quirk, or definition.
Oh, but then also, would a sales manager do this? Because this term kind of indicates you're somewhat a beginner in business as well, or a beginner in sales. Like, this is a definitional term, and as a sales manager, someone who's running sales teams, you should definitely know the difference between net sales versus gross sales. Yeah.
Yeah. So to continue this now, let's talk about things that you should be wary of when you start to use SEO software to do your keyword research, like in this vein. So we can start at a very common way to do keyword research, which is competitive analysis. And that's in this competitive research section of features in Semrush. So there's a bunch of them. But say for hypothetically, we have some other smaller CRM SaaS tool that we created, and we're looking at what our competitors are ranking for. That's a good idea. And in fact, if we just start at the beginning of organic research, I think, I'm already here. So that's fine. But I think this is what this is advertised as. It's like, see what your competitors are ranking for. Great tool. But now let's walk through kind of the traps that you could fall into, knowing that a lot of other companies make this mistake of doing a bunch of content marketing up here. So you put in, say, a pipedrive.com, and we say, okay, let's see what Pipedrive is ranking for, and therefore what we should maybe create content on. So first, just you nix out all of the branded search terms. That doesn't apply to you, right? If you're not Pipedrive. The first thing you see is exactly what we were looking at. They're ranking for gross sales, which on the surface, over 1,000 search volume. This is traffic. Over 5,400 search volume. At ranking number 1, they're getting a decent amount of traffic with this post. Very, very common that SEO agencies, consultants, in-house, whatever would be like, great, so we're going to put this on our list. Pipedrive's ranking for it, right? And then we can keep going. There's more. Sales pipeline. That seems a little bit more on topic. You could argue that the CRM literally is a tool to help you walk through the sales pipeline. But if we look at the post, it's sales pipeline fundamentals and stages. Again, like you said, Benji, that's someone kind of just Googling to learn what a sales pipeline is, how it works, key definitions. I don't think someone
who is in the market to buy CRM software is likely not looking for pipeline fundamentals. Or
right, they know that.
I mean, maybe they are, but they're a really early business. It's not attracting their best customers.
Yeah. And then on that note, another one is ACV meeting. Again, 4,400 search volume. And the blog post is ARR versus ACV sales meeting. So they're just defining, is another definitional thing. Again, very much does not indicate that the person is in the market for a CRM. And it could just continue, like sales memes is getting them a bunch of traffic. That's fun. That's funny. Maybe it helps your brand. It is very unlikely for it to generate conversions. Those kind of things, ACV meaning, sales memes, they are very much in this category. The non-boxed ones, which you could get a ton of traffic. And when you sit down to measure it, you're going to notice, wow, this is really not getting us any signups, demos, what have you. So that's kind of the cautionary tale. This is a great tool, but when you go through this, the way to use it is to look at what your competitors are ranking for under the lens of, I want to first find these absolute bottom of the funnel keywords. Don't just go after the other keywords the competitors are going after just because they're ranking for it. Don't think that they're doing this properly and that they're ranking for it means conversions, because the vast majority of companies are ranking for top of the funnel content because that's the culture of content marketing. Vast majority of companies are up here. So that's kind of the cautionary tale there. And then the last example of kind of things not to do, we wanted to then give a service example, and we'll use ourselves to counter this SaaS example. So Grow and Convert, we're a content-focused SEO agency. Our culture and our history was in content marketing. So now we can move to a keyword research tool like Semrush's Keyword Magic tool and type in a keyword, content marketing. So imagine now, get yourself in the shoes of our business. We're a content-focused SEO agency, right? So content marketing is something people need and they come to us when they're looking for an agency. Okay, but think about...
Yeah, and we primarily help both B2B companies, so B2B SaaS, B2B services. That's typically most of our clients here. And we help people do everything from writing blog posts, doing the strategy, measuring conversions, kind of doing the keyword research, kind of everything that you would need to do to run a successful SEO or content marketing operation.
Yeah. And we charge a decent amount for it. We're not for micro businesses or solo entrepreneurs, right? So we need to be finding, for us, we need to be doing marketing that attracts businesses of the size that would hire an agency and can afford us. So with that mindset, let's walk through again how many people do keyword research. You put in kind of a topic name at the top, and then you see what keywords there are to go after. The typical strategy assumes the higher on this list, which is the higher traffic, the better. Because why not? Again, like we said, like most SEO and content marketing is chases traffic. The more traffic, the better. The number one term in this space is the term itself, content marketing. 27,000 search volume versus, very quickly you get into 1,000. So, but that term content marketing, let's just Google it. Content marketing, right? You have MailChimp. What is content marketing? Content Marketing Institute. What is content marketing? HubSpot, etc. Forbes. So the people Googling content marketing aren't really going to be our clients. Like if our client is, our ideal profile is like maybe a CMO, head of marketing, head of content that's been doing content marketing, is dissatisfied with the results. They're dissatisfied with, not getting conversions from the content. It's a little bit more of an advanced mindset marketer. I don't think any of them are opening up Google in the morning of their workday and typing in content marketing, enter, right? Because that's more like a definitional term. What is content marketing? Very analogous to what we were talking about here of someone who's in charge of making a big CRM purchase decision is not like, let's see what the basics of a sales pipeline is. They already know that. But we can go through and kind of foreshadowing what we're going to talk about in the next lesson, which is what to do instead, introducing our pain point SEO framework. You start to see some glimmers of that of, the next one is content marketing agency. That is what we are. That's literally one of the things we are. And so that seems very much, if you're Googling for a content marketing agency, that's definitely bottom of the funnel. But our warning / advice in doing keyword research in this lesson of what not to do and what to avoid is whether you're going through and doing competitor analysis or just doing your own keyword research, walk through these options under the lens of, is it likely to produce conversions for me or not? Is it in the bottom of the funnel or not? So here it'd be like, no, content marketing itself is not. Content marketing agency, sure. Content marketing strategy, somewhat. And we'll talk about that in the next lesson. What is content marketing? No. And so we just go through that one by one.